Good afternoon, everybody, and late evening in Italy. Welcome back to 22 Panels. My guests today are Gianmaria Orlandi,
Yeah.
Matias Julio, and Larry
Yeah.
Stahl. They are the creative team behind a story called Nowhere to Go But Up from Emerald Valley Entertainment in the upcoming Emerald Valley Presents uh, Globalcomix release. So I'm going to start with, since I'm talking to people in Fort Wayne, which is not that far from me, and even closer to where I was over the weekend, because I was in like, I don't know if you know Dowagiac, Michigan, or Benton Harbor. So I was like an hour and a half north of you over the weekend. I'm probably 2 hours northwest of you now. Um, but then Matias, you're in Argentina. Did I get that right?
Yes, yes, that's right.
Matias is in Argentina, and Gianmaria is in Italy. So my first
Yeah,
question
that's
is,
right.
how did you guys get together to make a comic together?
Um, I,
Yeah, uh, yeah. Please go on.
Oh, you,
oh,
you,
I
you
think
guys go
that
ahead.
Larry put together the team.
Yeah, yeah. Pretty
I
much.
don't remember from it was Reddit, right? Or
Yes,
no?
yes, it was
Yeah.
definitely Reddit.
I think that we can say that this is one of the few moments that we can say thanks Reddit. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that was on Reddit.
Well, I mean, it used to be the one of the few minutes moments that you could say thanks Twitter, and now that it's become an
Yeah.
absolute cesspool, I suppose you got to carve out a space somewhere else to meet people.
Um,
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. It's finding these two on Reddit. If I'm okay, so I guess just to kind of make a long story short with it and whatnot. Originally, I was trying to put together a completely different idea that is not where nowhere to go but up, and I came across these two on Reddit. I fell in love with Jean Maria's artwork immediately, and Matias followed not too long after. And ever since, we've been working together. We've been working together on other projects on top of this one for when's it been since January,
Since
February?
January, I think. Yeah, January.
Yeah, we've been
Yeah.
working together for the better part of a year now, and you guys are absolutely amazing. And I wouldn't choose anybody else I'd want to work with. So yes, thank you very much, Reddit.
cool, cool. Who wants to describe the story, and then the follow-up will be who is Emerald Valley, and how did you get connected with them? So,
Um. Okay, so let me give you
The primer.
nowhere to go but up. Essentially, is something I came up with it back when I was like 17 years old, and this all kind of ties into how we ended up with Emerald Valley. But because I'm 25 now, for all the listeners out there, but
okay. So
I
still a
came up with this
youngster.
idea at 17 years old. I was inspired by my science class that I was in back when I was a junior in high school. We were we had this science teacher that was taught. He used to read up on all these like magazine stories that would come out. I can't remember the exact publication, but um, he was telling us about like like there's a lot of scientists and whatnot that want to try to terraform Mars and make it an inhabitable place. There's a and I know people still talk about that to this day, but it was just really topical for him, and when he told me that inspired me. And so when Emerald Valley approached us because of a different page that we had for a different project, he loved everything that he was seeing about it, and I reached out to him initially to like because he was a publisher to just be like, hey, like what does like a publisher look for? We're working on this project right now, like you personally as a publisher, what do you look for? And that conversation essentially turned into him going, You know what? If you guys are working on some stuff right now, I've got this anthology I'm putting together. I would love to have you guys in the anthology. And it was originally for that initial project that we had the Instagram page for. And so I was like, well, I don't necessarily know about this project right here, but I might have something for you. So where it ties into the origin of the story is I was going through all my notes to see, what kind of short story would I be able, to like have in this anthology. And I found that note from when I was 17 that I had written about, like what if the people of Earth decided to terraform Mars and move there. And I'm not even kidding, within 24 hours, I had this whole idea. And so the story of Nowhere to Go But Up is essentially the Earth has become uninhabitable. And so the people of Earth are moving to Mars, like the government is moving everybody up. But because they're restarting society and they're essentially looking for a fresh start for the human race, they leave behind everybody on Earth who had a criminal record. So the story of Nowhere to Go But Up, this part one here, is you're watching a man who was wrongfully convicted, who's being let out of prison, trying to make it to his daughter before she gets taken away from him.
Yeah. It was a fun read. The art was fantastic. Um, I'm curious to see where we go because it kind of I don't want to spoil too much, but like what he set up is what you get in part one. And you said it's 3 parts, right?
Yes, it is going to be 3 parts. We are going to be featured in Emerald Valley Presents issue 2, which is part 1, and then issue 3 and 4, which is parts 2 and 3.
Okay. And what time frame do they generally release on?
All right.
Is it going to be
When it
monthly?
when it comes to part 1, essentially, this is a small publisher, which, to answer your question,
Right.
I didn't get to the second half of the question a little bit ago,
Yeah.
because I needed to tell you a little bit about it, Emerald Valley Entertainment as a company. I believe Yosmar Vega, essentially, he is doing this. He publishes his own books through Emerald Valley Presents, but he also wanted to help other creators get exposure. And so, on top of his own projects, he puts out these anthology books as frequently as he can, but essentially when he has the time. But he's got a great platform there on Globalcomix, and his own books, which If a Tree Falls #1 through Emerald Valley Presents, which is like his baby, is available in print, and I think it's available at all of his local comic stores up in Massachusetts, where he's from.
Okay.
But essentially, the next part of this story, if people really dig this story, and you want to read part 2, I highly recommend following either Emerald Valley Presents or following me at Larry Book Stahl on Instagram.com to figure out when that next part is going to be. Because we're already cooking up part 2 and part 3. It's really just a matter of when we can release.
I mean, as a regular Globalcomix reader, I will also say that if you mark it as something that you're reading and you turn on your alerts, it will kindly tell you when the next one pops up.
Right.
I get my slew of alerts every Wednesday.
Because I wish that I could give you guys a solid answer on that. I would like to think
that's
sooner rather than later, because I know that sounds like super unprofessional. But that being said, we're just a bunch of guys making comics when we can make comics.
It's totally understandable, and often the way even mid-level presses work. I mean, Black Mask, as great as their stuff is, as much as it has a decent circulation in comic shops, is notorious for getting the first 2 issues out on some sort of schedule, and then like the 3rd issue is 6 months later.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, imagine being around when Watchmen's coming out.
Right.
That's
So it's
like
always
the usual time frame for indies.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just sometimes people set themselves a longer schedule. Like sometimes you would have been able to tell me, oh, we're going for quarterly. So don't even start looking for it until December, that sort of thing. And also it can be different when it's digital versus print because you don't have to do the same looking around for the printer that can fit you into their schedule. You don't have to raise the money to do the printing, etc. So I'm gonna kick to the artist for a second. Gianmaria, you when you got your script, what
Yeah.
stood out to you?
Do you mean about the story?
Yeah, what stood out to you about the story? What
Well,
what made you go, "Ooh, this is going to be fun to draw," or challenged you? Yeah, because I'm digging your layouts. I'm digging
yeah,
your character and world design. So I'm
I'm
always curious
hoping.
as to how much of that comes from the script, how much of that is loosely inspired by the script, how much of that is you read something in the script and it just sparked things in your own head.
I would say that it's a combination of all of them. I consider myself as I am for this project just an artist. So usually Larry comes up with, "Hey, I have a project," and I go, "Yeah, let's go." So I read the script, and I like the idea of just when we started working together, we were working on another project that probably Larry will talk about to you in a bit. So this is our second collaboration. I already was used to his writing style, which I like very much, and I like the possibility to the chance to do a short story, something smaller. I'm really into sci-fi, so yeah, well, why not? I I don't know. I just
That's
I don't,
okay.
I'm not really
Yeah.
great at describing my my method.
You mean you're an artist and words aren't your things? I'm shocked.
Yeah, yeah, we could say that. We could say that.
I'm shocked. I'm
I
married to an artist, so I kind of I'm aware.
Yeah, yeah.
She thinks in pictures,
I don't know.
I think in
I
words, and we had to figure that out to be able to communicate well with each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Matias, I love letters. I've had
Yeah.
I don't think there's
Oh, thank you.
any
Thank you.
I don't think there's any podcast that's had more letters on than I
Don't we
have.
all don't we all love letters?
Yeah,
Because
you're
you can write without letters, so you need
yeah, well, and also you're the unsung heroes just in general. Um,
yeah,
so right off the bat, what I notice about your lettering is that you chose and wisely chose a different font. Not just a different font, but a uppercase, lowercase font for the letter that goes
yeah,
through versus the typical all case for the dialogue.
yeah. And the funny thing is that the font that I use for the hand lettered, like the letters from this
The letter
character
from
to
the daughter,
another, is actually
right?
my hand
Oh, that's actually your
writing font
handwriting.
is my, and so like a few years ago I tried to do my own handwriting into a font, and
Okay.
the result wasn't very good, and I said, well, let's save this, and maybe sometime I can use this
Use
font.
again.
Like it looks like childish,
Right.
or I don't know, but it's my it's
Yeah.
in reality my handwriting font.
It looks authentic. It looks
Oh, okay. Thank you.
well, but I mean, authentic to the age, authentic to handwriting, authentic to something where it's being written personally rather than professionally. Um, and you know, making one's own font is no easy thing. I talked to Clem Robbins about it, because he's fascinated by making his own fonts because when he switched from hand lettering to you know, he saw, I don't know if you know Clem Robbins. Clem Robbins has been in the business. I think the first book he did was at DC in the early 70s.
Mm-hmm.
He's done a lot of the Hellboy stuff, a lot of stuff for Brian Azzarello.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
but he actually challenged me. He's like, the first time I did all digital fonts is in a page of 100 bullets, and I bet you can't find it. And I can't confirm whether or not you find it because I can't remember which one it is. I go through it, I can't figure it out either. But the specific thing he did when is like, because he likes with handwritten fonts that not everything looks the same.
Yeah.
So like he's like, I need 5 different A's and I
You
need
can,
6
yeah,
I's so that I
you
can,
can put different like variations. So
right,
like it's going to do the variations, and if also you can do like if depending on the letters that are behind or after of or
right,
the variation, like for example if it's a font that it's united with the next one, it's gonna change.
right.
um I I can't he
So is that
worked
something
in
you played
100
with?
bullets, you say?
Yeah, he did work on 100
No,
bullets.
no, not really, not really.
Not really.
Sometimes I don't know. Too
Sometimes.
much work. Too much work.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the other thing. You know, other letterers,
If I
I mean,
think it's
you know, I've had other letterers on too, and couple. I think like Clayton Coles, I don't think has ever bothered to make a font. Period. He just buys them, and I think Hassan Otzman how made one and went, okay, I've proven that I can do this, but God, that was tedious.
yeah, yeah. I also have both like the majority of the fonts that I
Right.
use. Like you pay the
Yeah.
license and
You pay for the
yeah,
license,
yeah,
or for that
yeah,
matter, I mean, you guys are still indie, so I don't know if you know Nate Picos of Blambot has a number
yeah.
of free to indie creators fonts. You don't have to pay him until
Yes,
you're
yes.
actually like a pro. That's his
Yeah,
way of giving
fantastic.
back.
He has a like a really good website, Blambot.
Yes, he does.
Like
Yes, he does.
he has like a page. I remember a page that it lists all the rules of lettering.
Yep. Yep.
Because there are like certain rules that you must follow, like the distance between the text and the border of the
Right.
balloon must be all equal in every balloon and so on. So
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
and he
Yep.
has like a very nice presentation about the rules of lettering. Yeah,
Yeah, no, he
it's
actually
a really
literally
good.
he wrote the book on it. You can buy his book
Yeah,
on lettering at this point. Um, the other thing that reason I love talking to letterers, and everybody else will get to talk about this next, but you're the first one that gets to see the finished product. You know,
yeah, yeah,
Larry wrote it, Gianmaria did the art, but the first time it's done is
yeah,
once you
yeah,
put the
and
letters in. So
yeah,
what were your first impressions?
and also I have the chance to first blog the art behind with my
Yep.
balloons and
Yep. Mm-hmm.
also that yeah, I think it looks nice. Like I think we did
Since
a good show. Yeah, like
do you enjoy the
I'm
story?
waiting. Yeah, yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Has Larry told
Um,
you guys where it's going yet? Or are
yes,
you in the
yes.
dark too? Okay.
Yeah, I think. Now I can remember if.
Well, I mean, you
Yeah,
shouldn't give it
yeah,
away,
I have an
so you
idea.
can.
mhm.
All right, Larry and Gianmaria, what do you think of the finished product? I mean, this is
Okay. Jean-Marie,
how are you feel?
you wanna go first on that?
Don't bash each other, please. But
No,
I don't want the
I
band to
really
break
like it.
up live on air. None of that.
No, no. That would be maybe good for the audience. Is the people love drama, but yeah, I like it. I'm quite happy with the art. It's Larry knows that I can't be left alone with my art for 15 minutes, so I start changing it. But yeah, no, I'm quite happy. Also, coloring is still not my strong suit, but I think that because I see myself mainly as an artist, and I do colors because people like colored pages, and it's not uh, it's not always feasible to also hire find a colorist. So I color.
You
I
mean you haven't reached the point where you can just pay somebody else to do
Yeah, yeah.
that?
I just put the colors in the lines,
Yeah.
but I'm quite happy with the final product. I
Yeah.
like the cover. Is I'm happy with how it came out, and I think that knowing where the story is gonna end, it will end up with be a really nice, a really nice story.
I mean, I will say that for not being a colorist, you did some cool things with your colors. Um,
I try. I thank you.
I particularly like the way you handled um like holographic type stuff and um the energy wall on the cell. You know, those aren't easy things to pull off in a way that looks good. I've
Thank you.
seen lots of stuff like that done, and even by pros, where it's like, okay, I know what you're trying to do, but it's doesn't
Yeah,
feel it either feels authentic in a world that is more cartoonish, or managing to both do that translucent blue on top of everything else while maintaining the both the color and the general art feel of the world you have already seems to be the challenge. Like I've noticed a lot of times in Star Wars comics, it's like, okay, we've got this wonderful Force Ghost, but it's like you
yeah,
got so into the Force Ghost thing that's like it actually feels more detailed than the rest of the art.
yeah, yeah.
you know that sort of thing. So it's a balancing act, and I think you balanced it nicely. And Matias, I think the decision to do the translucent notched balloons for when the holograms were speaking is also,
Yeah,
and it's another thing that I like. Half the time when people do it, they do it poorly. They do it in a way that makes it really hard to read, and you still manage to make certain that the words pop even as
yeah,
so like I like to give credit where credit's due when I notice those little things. And Larry, in case you're feeling left out, I love anybody who can tell two stories at once. So the way you managed to have the letter going on top of, I mean, that's something that's uniquely comics. It's very hard to do in any other medium, where you've got words that are about something that isn't what you're seeing, but plays with what you're seeing. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah, because that I was trying to figure out how to convey these different things that were happening, and
Mhm.
I'm honestly not sure. Here's a good panel, for example. Sabi, I'm not spoiling anything, just a panel of the 8 pages. Um, it was really tricky, and I was really hoping that the other two would get it, which of course I have like the greatest like team working with me, so of course they understood it. But the panel in which you've got our main character, he's trying to run somewhere. Read it on Globalcomix if you want to know. And but he's trying to run somewhere, and the chaos of what's happening in the streets with all of the prisoners is going on beside him. You've got people just being absolutely animalistic and shooting each other and looting stores and whatnot, while there's also a caption box about this girl, from this girl's perspective, saying that she loved.
Especially going to miss the long walks we'd take in the woods. My favorite part is when we would watch the animals just existing in their natural habitat.
Yeah, like
As
that
dad's
panel.
running down the street and one guy's shooting another guy while they're wait, no, 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 and the guy is walking out the broken window with a big screen TV.
Yeah, yeah, like that right there, trying to juggle those things, and
Yeah.
just like really hoping that in the script I'm writing it in a way that it makes sense. So
Well, and,
I'm
and that was actually kind of brilliant wording too, to have her talk about long walks in the woods while he's running down the urban hellscape. It's a nice juxtaposition. That was one of the points where I went, okay, I like the balance, the word versus visual balance here.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. You are too kind. I'm really happy with this story that we put together. Thank
Yeah.
you.
No, it's a very cool story. Um, Before we get into some general comic stuff, I did, while Larry was introducing everything, because I can do one of my teacher superpowers slash autistic superpowers is I can multitask. I listened for where I needed to jump back in, and I read Galactic Mercenary. So Matias,
Ah, yeah.
let's quickly talk some
Yeah,
Galactic Mercenary.
yeah, that's
uh,
because
I, I
I am,
I I love the
yeah.
way you play with language in this.
Yes.
I'm a word geek, so I'm like really disappointed that you came up with something that I'd never thought of. The whole, wait a minute, your your planet is covered by water and you're made out of water, but it's called Earth.
Yeah, and when I was translating, because let me tell the story about how this short story come to life. I was working with artist Sibo
Mm.
Irusano, a good friend of mine, and we did this comic first in Spanish, and in Spanish, Earth, Tierra, it's more like dirt, and it works even better, like the wordplay, like the pun about
Right.
earth and rock and dirt and well, but it's also one of those stories that if you kind of spoil it if you talk much about it, right?
No,
Because it's a
no, we
short
shouldn't.
story.
I mean, it's got a lot of great wordplay with a lot of hilarious pictures, and that's about
Yeah,
as much as we can say about it.
yeah,
Um,
yes.
though I love that you bring up that it was in Spanish first and that you had to find because I just had Chris Cicada, who is the co-owner of Lion's Tooth in Milwaukee, as well as um, a English to Portuguese translator. In fact, she recently translated Beto Hernandez's Parts of Love and Rockets to Portuguese. And Matt Madden, who is a comic cartoonist in his own right, but has also done a couple of French to English translations. So we did a translation roundtable and talked about like finding the right, because so few things are direct translations, and particularly because comics can be sparse in words and should be sparse in words. You often, as a writer, pick out a very specific word to get across a point. So then finding the equally specific word in another language
Yeah,
can
and
sometimes
sometimes
be
you
a juggling
you
act.
can. Yeah, and sometimes it's like very hard to came up
Yeah.
with a word that also works that very well in different language.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's sometimes
Uh,
it's some with like I struggle a lot sometimes to translate my comics because I use like a lot of um, puns and
yeah.
words and even rhymes. Like
Right.
I have like a few comics that has like certain like
Well,
rhymes
I mean,
and things like that, and it becomes like very difficult to translate it to
yeah, no, I mean,
another
what I
language.
what I brought to the table during the translation conversation was that like where I started to pay attention is that my favorite book is the Little Prince by Antoine Saint-Exupéry.
Mhm.
Um, and the original Catherine Woods translation is filled with whimsy, and I adore it, and that's the one I love. And it's been retranslated like twice in my life, and I never have to read more than like the first couple of pages to go, nope, they sucked the life out of this.
Yeah.
you know. But then I also I read a lot of poetry, and I read poetry from around the world, and God, can the translation make or break, you
Mhm.
know, when you're going from Polish to English, it's not easy to begin with, but like when you're doing a poem from Polish to English, there's a delicate balance to get some sort of semblance of the rhythm, some sort of semblance of the meter while still keeping the, I'm shocked by people who manage to translate songs. I got to see, I don't know if any of you know Say George or Sue George, Brazilian guitarist who translated a bunch of David Bowie to Portuguese for
Ah, no,
for
I
for,
don't.
for the Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou,
Oh, that's
and somehow made it work. David Bowie songs in Portuguese that work, but it's
that
not what
sounds
you
fun.
expect. It is. I totally recommend going and seeking it out. Um, but yeah, but I'm digressing, and this is supposed to be about you guys. So now my next favorite question to ask, um, and let's see, we're gonna go in order of how old people are. So who's the oldest among you? You don't have to tell me
I don't
ages.
know.
Larry already told us he's 25. So are either of you older than Larry?
Oh,
I have a feeling
I
I'm
don't
older.
know how old is Matias. I'm 34, so maybe.
Oh, I lost. I'm 36.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
So
So
Larry
I
will get to
realized
go
I was the
first,
baby
and
here.
Matthias. Yeah, Larry will go
yeah,
first,
Yeah,
and
Larry.
Matthias will go last. Um, but what I like to ask creators for is their comics biography, and by comics biography, I don't mean your bibliography. Don't tell me about the work you've done. Tell me about that first comic book that you bought, that first comic book that you fell in love with, that comic book that you read and went, I want to do this. Tell me about your life through comic books. And again, we're gonna go youngest to oldest here, because that way the older people can more add on if they happen to share any of the stuff from the younger people. Though you're three different countries, so there might not be a lot of overlap. Who knows? So, Larry,
Ooh,
take it away.
okay. I'm about to show off
Show us how much of a
comic
baby
nerd
you
I
are.
am.
And
Yeah,
also
and it's
how
gonna
much of a
make me
baby
sound
you
like a
are.
baby, but I have. Okay, so is it the thing that got
I
us
mean,
into comic
I'm
books?
just thinking that like you couldn't have even had Bendis's Ultimate Spider-Man be your first comic because you weren't able to buy comics then.
Actually,
I mean, that came out, it might have been your first comic, but you didn't buy it in the
it
store when it
it
came out.
wasn't. It was, but it wasn't issue one. I can tell
Okay.
you verbatim. Okay, I
Okay.
have my first comic
Of
book
course.
was Brian Michael Bendis's Ultimate Spider-Man issue 112. It was the
112.
first issue that Stuart Immonen completely drew for the series. It was The Death of the
Okay.
Goblin Part 1.
Okay.
I
That's a good
was
one.
my parents were they were business owners in this little town called Antwerp, Ohio. They ran a restaurant, and right across the street there was a pharmacy. And so as a kid, you know, my parents are always busy doing this and that, and I was probably way less supervised than I should have been. So I would just wander around and walk into businesses and just be looking at what they had. And I walked into this pharmacy, and I was just
Apparently,
getting
the
into
last pharmacy to still carry comic books.
it
Because
might
that's
be,
late
Dan,
enough that I
because
would have expected, you know, I get the pharmacy story from people older than me. And by the way, I'm the oldest one in this room by like a decade.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
yeah, no,
know how pharmacies work over there, but here they just have meds or
Right.
okay.
no, these were my meds, I
They don't have,
promise.
they don't have Spider-Man.
No.
Yeah, no, I was just getting into comic books at the time because I had grown up in a family that wasn't too keen on it. Like, I had some hand-me-down Batman toys that my brother had from when he was a kid. This is definitely making me sound young, but my brother's Batman toys were from the Batman and Robin movie. But that was
Oh,
literally my
I
only
love I
exposure.
love those movies.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
so the one with the nipples.
Yeah, the one with the nipples. That's right. And not to forget the back
Play
credit card.
rusty metal, Batman.
I'm pretty I'm pretty sure that line was from Batman Forever, but I digress.
It might have been.
But so I was just really getting into comics at the time because when I was 7 years old, the hype for Spider-Man 3, this is in 2007, the hype for Spider-Man 3
Oof.
was palpable in my elementary school.
Well, that's
And so
because
when
it needed to be, because that was the one that wasn't as good.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody knew how bad it was till after it came out. And I think when you're 7 years old, you watch it.
Oh no,
Yeah,
you're like,
it
this
wasn't.
is
It wasn't
Casablanca,
bad.
dude.
He just tried to do too much.
Right. And I wonder how much of that is Sony's fault. But
Actually, I mean, the way I remember it, because I was old enough that I read the articles right before and right after. The way I remember it is he had wanted to do four movies, but Sony was iffy on four movies, and Toby had messed up his back enough that he said, "I really can't do four movies." And Sam didn't want to do a movie without Toby, but he knew that he still had Goblin stuff to do. He had this Sandman story that he really loved, and he didn't want to leave without doing Venom. So instead of doing two movies to do all of that stuff, he crammed it all into that last one.
right. But yeah, no. So I was getting into comic books at the time. I never. That was the first time I had ever run into a comic book, and I became a fan for life after that. I was buying, mind you, like, you're probably right. It was probably one of the last pharmacies in America to be like, we have comic books. But that being said, the pharmacy. I was reading Ultimate Spider-Man monthly at that point. I read that whole arc. The arc after that was Spider-Man and his amazing friends when they had like their Firestar
Yep.
Iceman.
Mhm.
And then the arc after that was War of the Symbiotes, which is the adaptation of the video game.
Yep.
And it was my mom and dad moved their business to a different town by the time the Ultimatum tie-ins started. But
Okay.
that was my first comics, and when I was reading those, I was then also begging the people that ran the pharmacy, like it would literally be whatever my hyperfixation was, because it started with Spider-Man, and then I read those old DK Ultimate guides that they used to make.
Okay.
And because of that, it was like a chain reaction of like, oh, Hulk. And then so I'd be like, order in whatever Hulk you could get. And then around that time, it was World War Hulk was happening. I was
Sounds right.
I was a Marvel, and still am. I know this isn't on video, but behind me, I've got this whole
Yeah, I can see it.
menagerie of
I
Marvel
can see it.
figures behind
A couple
me.
of Galactuses.
But
Let me rephrase. Couple of Squirrel Girl's best friend. That's how I think of Galactus now. Squirrel Girl's buddy.
But it's. I wonder. Are they gonna put that in the Fantastic Four movie? No.
I mean, it would be awesome. Squirrel
But
Girl
yeah.
needs more attention.
Yeah, just
Squirrel
just,
Girl and Jeff.
I think Jeff the Land Shark is such a cute character, but I think that Marvel Rivals game just shot him into the atmosphere.
Absolutely, but with good reason, because Kelly Thompson and Guru have been killing it with that since day one. Don't you dare knock Jeff. Not on my show.
Right. Okay, we're not knocking Jeff. I mean, I don't have a bad thing to say about Jeff. I'm just just but yeah, no, yeah, I guess I rambled on a little too long there, but Ultimate Spider-Man
No, that's okay.
12 by Brian Michael Bendis and Stuart Immonen was my first comic book ever, and I've been a lifer ever since.
Where did you start going, I want to do this? What was the story you read that went,
It was, funny enough, it was literally around that time.
Okay. So
now,
pretty
mind
quickly.
you, I didn't start taking it seriously until recently, because I
you
tried
were like
doing other things with
9,
my life.
maybe 10.
No, it was well, when I was a kid, I was reading them and I loved them, and I was like, I want to make these. And so, I would just sit there for hours and draw and color, like writing stories, stapling them together. And maybe someday if I can find any of them, I'll post them up on my Instagram just to be like how it started, how it's going. But
I mean, you should go take a look at the ones Jeff Smith did when he was 8. You might change your mind.
I will say, you ever see Alex Ross?
He was already drawing the Bone Boys like almost fully formed when he was 8.
That's kind of crazy, because like I was doing them back then, but
Right.
I started taking it seriously. December of last year is when I started writing and actually honing the craft. I spent pretty much the first half of my 20s, I was in a touring punk rock band.
Hey, that's how Nate Powell got started too. And by touring, I mean going couch to couch. I mean, go read his recent book is all about it.
Yeah, it's I did that for a good long while, and I always told myself, one of these days I'm going to start making comics. One of these days I'm going to start making comics. And finally it got to this point of where I was like, no, I am a grown man. I am going to do this. I'm finally going to do this thing I've always wanted. I mean,
you're 25, so I don't know about the grown man part, but
right. Yeah. I am a baby here. I am the baby.
I have children older than you. I'm allowed to say this.
No. It's okay. I don't take it as a slight at all. Please.
Actually, you're right between my 2 children.
Between the back pain that I have and all the bills I gotta pay and whatnot, just please keep reminding me of my youth, please. But yeah, no, yeah, I started working on these fairly recently, but like that being said, you know, like I said, I've got Matias and Gianmaria here, and they have been, you know, like these are the first people I've ever contacted to be like, let's make a comic book, and now here we are doing short stories, working on other things. It has been a beautiful working relationship and whatnot. You know, it's all happened very quickly, but it's all been absolutely wonderful. I love working with these two. It's been great.
All right. I'll probably come back to you because you still haven't given deep enough comic history, but we'll let Jean Maria go next. Tell me how you got into comics, how you decided that, hey, this is something I want to do.
Okay,
What books
so
made you go, and how did you
uh,
what I recently learned about an Italian form that's like I can't remember what it's called, but it's the ones where it's like pictures used to make comics. Do you know what I'm talking about? They did apparently a lot in
uh,
the 70s and early 80s.
oh yeah, I think you're talking about fotoromanzo.
Yes.
Yeah, it's more like drama stories,
Really.
like Roman stuff. Yeah,
Apparently only the
we
Italians do it well enough that it's worth reading, is what
yeah,
I'm told.
it's the typical the classic thing that you bring to the beach and you read there under the umbrella. So I've I don't really remember my first comic. Probably it was just maybe some early Dragon Ball thing, some manga that you can buy at uh, uh, what's your term for the place when you buy newspapers?
Newsstand,
Yeah, it's pretty much okay.
corner
This
store.
yeah, the comic shop here uh, is a relatively new thing. Only big cities have dedicated comic shops, and you buy. Let me check for the word because I want to be precise. Okay, yeah, news kiosk. Okay. Um, you usually buy Italian comics and also comic books. They were sold in this comic kiosk. No, this news kiosk, and yeah, probably was some manga.
Yeah, I can definitely see the manga influence in your work.
Yeah,
So that's yeah,
it's inescapable.
yeah.
Uh, I
Hey, I
I
love manga. We've been Tyler and I, my weekly co-host, we have been
yeah.
barreling through One Piece. We're halfway there, a year into reading. So, we might catch up before he finishes.
Oh, maybe. Okay. Um, my family wasn't really a family of comic readers, so I wasn't introduced there. But at high school, I had a friend with a ton of Dylan Dog. I don't know if
Okay.
you yeah,
2000
for
AD.
people.
That's or no,
Maybe
Dylan Dog is
yeah. It probably published on 2000 AD for maybe, but is
yeah,
a
I
classic.
thought Rebellion had done
Yeah,
some. But
yeah,
it starts
probably.
in it
Yeah, yeah.
starts
I
it
think
starts
I
in
think
Italy. So
Sorry.
my yeah, no, it originated in Italy. So here I am
Yeah,
giving the Brits the my bad. I should not have given the Brits
yeah. Don't worry.
the credit
Uh,
for that.
yeah, Dylan
Created
Dog
by
is
Zanio Scalvi and Sergio Bonelli, editore in night or
yeah.
published by Sergio Bonelli.
Sergio
Since
Bonelli
19
is probably the biggest
Publisher?
publisher here in Italy, and they
Okay.
specialize in this kind of comics that they probably do only they want to do this kind of books like 100 pages monthly, black and white,
Okay.
kinda episodic. You have this. You always have the main character, a small set of secondary characters, but every month you have a new story. And Dylan Dog is just a detective of the occult, and every month you have usually some lady that go to him, fell in love with him, and sell him on a case. But yeah, I had this friend in high school that had a ton, like he came to school with bags full of the just Dylan dogs, and I he gave it to me. So I had the opportunity to read a lot of them, and yeah, I started probably really reading comics that time. But if I have to say what comics made me say, yeah, maybe I could do that, it's it's not original, but it's probably Mike Mignola,
Okay.
Hellboy, because
Hellboy's great.
you see, as a boy, you see Marvel comics, especially with the style who was used in the 90s, early 2000s, and you don't really think, yeah, I can do that. But then you see Hellboy, and is a totally different style, and you say, you can do that. You can make a comic in this style, and yeah, it's probably Hellboy. The what what made me think I wanna do that. I wanna try. Of course, I started copying Magnola because
There are
I
worse
think every
people to
artist
copy.
every artist have a phase in which he tries to copy Mignola. But the first, usually, I attended the Academy of Belle Arti here in Italy. This the like Academy of Fine Arts. And usually they teach you, if you want to do comics, to as a starter, just pick an artist and copy them. It's a way to develop some synthesis. Just how does he do clouds? How does he do trees? I still do that. I still have a ton of stuff of my desk. Just hey, let me check how he do the rocks. So the first artist I tried to copy was probably Eduardo Risso.
Oh,
With you previously talked about 100 Ballets,
yeah.
and it probably was the first comics that I have on the desk. Just try to copy. I probably tried to trace over Ardoris at some point. But yeah, I can I could go on and just like right now my main
This is where I do have to ask really quickly. Has
yeah.
Distillery been published overseas? Have you seen Risso's most recent work?
No,
Blood Brothers Mother with
no,
Azzarello, as almost everything is. Yeah, he's
yeah,
doing full
it's
like a full
probably
painted Western.
I haven't read it. It's probably been published because We have Panini that just publish. For which publisher did they do that?
It's called Distillery.
Distillery.
Okay.
DSTLRY.
Let me check.
No.
I think that it was published first in Europe. I think that because before being published for Distillery, it was published in Spanish. I know that. Like it was probably first published in Europe.
Yeah, I'm
Or maybe
searching
not.
for.
But there's
Yeah, maybe
there's
I've just missed it.
they've been doing just. I mean, it's one of the coolest stories they've been doing together, and or that they've done together, and Rizzo and Azzarello have been doing great
Oh,
stories together
is it Moonshine?
forever.
Yeah, I think it's Moonshine.
Moonshine is before that.
Okay.
But this one right here is what they're doing right now. It's called the
I
Blood
can't
Brothers
find
Mother.
an Italian. I can't find an Italian edition. So maybe
Yeah. It's possible that it's not yet. But yeah, keep your
I
eyes
was
peeled.
thinking.
Yeah, sure.
Because there's like 3 issues available yet so far, and it's just. I mean, again, I've been a fan of Rizzo's work since 100 Bullets issue 1.
Yeah, it's really good.
And I feel like this might be among the best stuff he's ever done. So yeah. And I imagine Matias has known Rizzo as longer than any of us have, seeing as he's in Argentina.
Maybe. I have never met him
I was hanging out
personally.
with him last week. Not personally.
He does.
I think he lives in Spain now, doesn't he?
No, he lives here. He lives in.
He does.
Rosario.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and he also organized like a very important festival here that is called Crank Bang Boom. That it's in August. It's like a big convention, one of the biggest convention of South America. And he organized it.
Very cool.
He and like a group of people, but like it's like a really big event here. Like all the publishers in Argentina, like they prepare like the big books that they're gonna publish. Like they.
They'll get them all. They
schedule
it's
yeah.
It's the Argentine version of the San Diego Comic-Con, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's when all the announcements are going to be made. Did Matias freeze?
It's on the series.
There
In Crack Bang Boom, it's only comics. You can't go like if you have like I don't know, like a TV series or something. You can't.
So yes,
it's only for comics. Yeah. If you don't like that kind of thing,
I don't need the rest of pop culture.
Yeah.
Stick to the comics.
yeah. That's and it's a great convention, and you can see like Rizzo going around on the convention always. I never talked to him.
Oh, very nice.
But like it's a good opportunity to go and like say hello. I never did, but
one day.
Yeah, one day.
So, tell me your comics journey. Where'd you start? What do you love?
I can't really remember, but I think my first comics. My dad used to read comics, so maybe it was one of his comics that maybe was laying around and I should pick it up. we have like anthology comics, like here, like till the early 2000. We had some magazines that publish like anthology comics, and you have different series. And maybe it was one of those comics, and probably here there was a publisher called Columba, and in Columba, that's where like a lot of like big names started publishing, like well, Rizzo, like Jorge Safino, like Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, like a lot of like very well-known artists started there, and those magazines were everywhere. So maybe like it was one of those magazines, my first comic. And
Very cool.
And yeah, that's it.
So, what comic or set of comics were the ones that you loved and went, I want to do this?
Yeah, maybe I think the first one that really blew my mind, one comic from here that is called The Eternaut, that has been adapted like this year into a series, but it's like a really old comic. It's from the 50s, but it's like very popular here and like a very good sci-fi, and it was like the first comic that like get me to pay attention in like the script, like the story. So like I really wanted to start writing comics because I started doing lettering because I started lettering my own comics, that the comics that I was writing. So like that's like my origin as a letterer. And I don't know. I think that's it. I'm thinking what comics from the US was reading when I was a kid. Maybe the X-Men and things like that were like very popular. Like I grew up in the 90s. The X-Men.
X-Men were definitely big in the 90s and the 70s and the 80s
Spider-Man.
last year.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. X-Men is always popular, but like in the 90s was
well, I mean, the early
really big
2000s
explosion.
until the beginning of the Hickman run, they were kind of not quite as popular.
No, yeah.
Spider-Man
Like
got to be number
Chuck
one again for a
Austin
little
run,
while.
not very popular. Yeah.
All right. I feel like this is a good time to wrap up. I have a favorite final question. We're gonna go in reverse order this time. So Matias, I'm gonna put you on the spot. You're gonna think quickly.
Okay.
Tell me something that you love, preferably a comic, but we don't really have rules. Preferably storytelling, but again, we don't really have rules. Something that you love, that you want more people to experience, so you have more people to talk about it with.
No, I should mention like the adaptation, recent adaptation of that comic that I said, The Eternal. It's in Netflix, and I think it's very good. Like people have to try watching it. I don't know if you watch it or.
I haven't watched it yet on
Okay.
Netflix, but I
Yeah,
am a definite fan
very
of the
good,
comic.
very good sci-fi. You read the
Yeah.
comic?
I have.
It's
I've read both versions of the comic because it's been done a couple of times.
Yeah, the Breccia version and the Solano Lopez version.
Right. because it was actually one of she's become one of our regulars, but I mentioned that I've had everything from small comics to big comics, writers, artists, letter writers. The letter writer I had was an El Salvadoran refugee living in Australia who wrote a letter to Love and Rockets in the 80s, but put enough identifying information in it that I was able to go track her down as a storyboard artist now, and I invited her on as a guest, and then she became part of our Love and Rockets book club. And her answer to that question was the Eternaut.
Oh,
So,
really?
so it's the
Yeah.
second time, but this time there's a movie now too. So there's even more reason for people to go check it out. So, Gianmaria, same question. Something that you love, preferably comics,
Okay.
preferably storytelling, no rules.
I'm really sorry because the problem is not comics, is not storytelling.
That's fine.
I'm
Andrew
uh,
Iden recently said his own tomato garden.
oh yeah, I really love
Like I said, no
the
rules.
peppers. I really love the peppers that I'm growing on my balcony, but I was not thinking about about this. I'm really big into wargaming and painting miniatures. Comics
Okay.
is my job, and painting little man is my hobby. And
What which kind of miniatures do you like to is there a specific game that you like to do the most, or
yeah, I have a group here in a town near where I live. We play mostly Kill Team, which is a skirmish game. You use like 6 to 10 models, and you make your
okay.
little man fight the others little man, and
What's it called again?
Kill Team.
Spell it for me. Or put it in
Kill
the chat one. Oh, kill
Team.
team. Okay, see, nice and
Like
easy.
Yeah,
kill him.
it's simple.
Yeah.
It's
You and
simple.
your Italian accent.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But I'm also really like an old game. It's called Mordheim, which is like also a um, is a old game of the 2000, I think, and the
Okay.
community is keeping it alive. So you like we build this tiny medieval ruined city, and you build your little war band, and you try to scavenge resources against the others war band, and I really like painting models and whatnot.
I love how comic artists wind up with hobbies that are still art, but it's like this is what I do as my hobby
Yeah.
because drawing is now work. So I need I don't know if you know who Ibrahim Mustafa is. He's done a number of great books for humanoids. But he took up making custom action figures. So he's got a YouTube
Wow.
channel where he shows you how to make custom action figures, but that's his hobby. He doesn't want to sell those. He's like,
Yeah.
as soon as I start selling them or anything, then it becomes work. No, this is my
Yeah.
hobby.
I
Comics are work.
they told me, yeah, you're really good at painting, you should do commission painting, and I said, I would rather shoot myself than transform that into work as well.
Right. Sounds about right. Larry.
All right. So if I were to choose one thing that I highly enjoy that I think more people should check out, primarily, because I've got so many different things, but something that I
You can
wish
go with more than one.
go with more than one. Well, my
We
number.
don't have rules, remember?
Okay, all right. I've got two different things here.
Okay.
One of them is and this one I've probably got less to say on, but I seriously think that more people should find more analog ways to enjoy media. Like, for example, I am a tape collector, and I
Okay.
still actively
My son
use
too.
headphones to this day. And you know, I've got a stereo here at home and whatnot. And personally, I think finding a way to consume any kind of art, and especially in this case, music, having a way to experience it without being so interconnected. Like on Spotify, you get like the ads and stuff if you're not paying for the premium and all of that.
Right.
Personally, for me, I think listening to music on like CD and tapes, you know, like the idea of physical media in general, is something that I highly enjoy.
This is how young you are.
Yeah,
I love my vinyl.
It's just
Yeah.
because like my thing is
I
being
love my
so
vinyl. Tapes are a pain in the ass. CDs were great until you had digital media, and that's when I went back to collecting vinyl.
right. You
I
know,
never
everything
completely
kind of
stopped collecting vinyl. And don't get me wrong, I still have 4,000 CDs on my wall in the basement because, you know, having digital doesn't mean I get rid of the old stuff. It means I don't get as much of the new stuff.
But that being said, my other thing that I would say is much more in tune with comics is I wish one of like the series it started in 1975, Peter Parker the Spectacular Spider-Man. That series in general, I think more people should read, and in particular the JMD Matias and Sal Buscema era of that run, because barely any of that era has been collected anywhere. I know there's an omnibus coming up, I think, but there are a lot of really good stories that were not in the mainline Amazing Spider-Man title.
I have always maintained that, and I have more of them. In fact, I think I have like 80 of the first 100. That Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, is the better Spider-Man.
Thank you. That's exactly how I feel when it comes to mainline 616 universe Spider-Man. There's so many great stories.
For that matter, that's why I was thrilled when Zdarsky did Peter Parker, brought back Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, rather than taking on an Amazing Run or whatever. You know, because it's like, yay, I get my favorite title back, and he's the perfect one to write it.
Right. Yeah, no, because Chip Zdarsky's take on Spider-Man is wonderful.
That's part of what I loved about it versus the Amazing Spider-Man is it felt like they were willing to be a little bit more quirky. They spent a little bit more time with Peter versus Spider-Man. They took more risks on non-action type things. You know, Spider-Man had to have its nonstop action all the time. Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, was the secondary title, and therefore they got to mess around a little bit more.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time with the side characters from when Peter was in college. You know, you get to know characters a little better in that one, and not only that, like I don't know, like Peter David told some great stories. JMD Matias did this great story
called The Killing of Shin the Wolf. Is one of my favorites.
What?
The Killing of Shin the Wolf. It's one of my
Killing of Shin
from Peter David from like
that
kind of era.
No, in terms of ongoing Spider-Man series, I think the only one that's better, and it's way shorter, so it's still hard to compare it, was Tangled Web.
Oh yeah, Tangled Web.
Tangled Web is Spider-Man. Right.
Flowers for
well,
Rhino,
just all of them. I mean, the idea of taking Spider-Man and doing one shot or like 1 to 2 issue storylines and just letting different creative teams do whatever the hell they wanted with very little constraint is just
and
I don't understand why they don't always do that.
Darwin Cook had some great work.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Darwin's episode or issue was great. Yeah, there's just again the whole run was outstanding. And I mean, Batman's doing that with Brave and the Bold right now. I think if they're still doing, actually, Brave and the Bold ended, didn't it? For a while, they were
Yeah,
doing it
Brave
with
and the
Brave and the
Bold.
Bold, where they
Yeah,
kind of
'cause
had the
Tom
anthology
King-
series.
Yeah, Tom King had a great retelling of Batman issue 1 in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my lord! I think it was called The Winning
Can't
Card.
can't Cantwell had a Superman story in there, and oh, I can't even remember all the other ones. But I don't understand why they don't do more anthology series with their big, huge characters,
Oh,
because there are lots of people that would love to take a month and do a Superman story that don't necessarily have any interest in doing a run on Superman.
I think they do briefly, like over at DC they do briefly do anthology books. Like I think like
Yeah,
Superman
every
was
once in a while.
Like
Superman Red, White, and Blue.
Yeah. Well, and for that matter, I mean, Marvel does its Black, White, and Red.
Right.
Predator Black, White, and Red starts this week, which I'm going to wind up having to read a Predator book because Sarah Gailey wrote a story. I gave her a hard time about that yesterday. I'm like, Gailey, what are you doing to me? First, Kelly Thompson makes me read G.I. Joe. Now you're making me read Predator. I've only got so much money to spend on comics.
Right.
All right. The story is nowhere to go but up. Do we have a date for when the first issue is officially available on?
The first issue is available July 9th on
July
a
9th on
Wednesday,
Globalcomix?
exclusively on Globalcomix.
So actually, there's a decent chance that by the time this goes out, it will be available. We'll see how quickly Tyler is getting stuff turned around. I may have dropped like 5 episodes on him over the weekend, so I put him behind again. He was just caught up.
Right. Got to keep him moving. Gotta
Yeah,
keep him going.
I mean, it turns out everybody in comics says yes. So guys, it was great to talk to you. We should do a spoilery one after the whole story's done. And certainly feel free to reach out if you ever have a different project to plug as well. That sort of thing. And for that matter, I just like talking comics. So, never hesitate to go, hey, I need somebody to talk about this with.
I wouldn't even go that far. If you ever just want to talk comics or anything, I would gladly just come on and do that, man.
I'll keep that in mind too. I'm much better at responding than reaching out, particularly because my reaching out tends to be, ooh, this person that I know has something up on FOC. I'd better write them again. Because like we're 650 some odd episodes in now, so like I went from, oh, it's scary to write these people, to, hey Tom, your Wonder Woman comic was amazing today.
Oh no, yeah, of course we can
So that's just my way of saying, like, don't take it personally if I don't get back to you, and don't be afraid to email me.
Of course.
Because I love to talk comics with people. And this has been fun. I'm excited to see the rest of this story.
Thank you.
I like an excuse to, as much as I agree with Larry that I love analog media, I also love how much digital is out there, because it lowers the bar for admission. It lowers the bar to get people out there where people can see their stuff. Unfortunately, it doesn't necessarily raise the bar for getting them paid early. That's the next challenge. But the more people who can get into comics in the more different ways, I think the better. It was fun to talk about this, and I thank you for reaching out. I thank you for
No, thank
making
you.
time in your busy days, etc. And for the team of Nowhere to Go But Up, this has been 22 Panels, and we will see you after the next page.